My sister Sierra once handed our father a glass of oil instead of water. I should have seen the signs then. She never obeyed without question, never smiled when told. Our father thought strictness was love, our mother silence. Sierra's punishments became routine. Her back bore the welts of leather, but she never shed a tear. She told me she didn't regret it, just wished it had been poison. That moment branded her defiance into my memory, like the first whisper before a storm, when Dad announced Sierra's engagement to a witted businessman twice her age. She laughed like it was a punchline. Mom winced. Dakota stayed silent, but I watched Sierra's eyes turn glassy. That night, she burned the wedding dress in our backyard pit. Smoke curled like defiance into the night. She told me she's rather be dead than obedient. I noticed Dakota watching from the upstairs window, hand pressed to the glass. In that moment, I knew Sierra wasn't the only one planning escape. The next day, Sierra vanished before dawn. Dad claimed she ran to shame us. Mom said nothing. I searched her room, empty, except for a drawing tucked under the mattress, her holding a smoking gun, a broken chain at her feet. That night, Dakota whispered she'd seen Sierra near the train yard. We raced there, hearts pounding, but it was a trap. Police were waiting. Dad had reported Sierra as mentally unstable. We barely escaped. That was the first time I realized how far Dad would go to cage her. 2 days later, Sierra returned silent, bruised, and gripping a torn photo of Nathaniel Cruz. He hid me, she said. He believes in choices. But Dad had found them. He smiled through clenched teeth, shaking Nathaniel's hand in front of the town, pretending everything was fine. Behind closed doors, Sierra was locked away. Dakota stole keys, but Sierra refused to flee. One more act, she whispered. Then everything changes. I didn't know what she meant, but her eyes held the calm before a storm. And her fingers never stopped tracing that photo's edge. The morning of the ceremony, Sierra dressed in white, calm as glass. The village gathered, whispering blessings, but when the officiant asked if she accepted her fate, Sierra pulled the hidden gun from beneath her veil. Gasps echoed. She pointed it skyward and fired once. Panic erupted. This isn't love, she shouted. It's ownership. Then she dropped the weapon and walked to Nathaniel, hand outstretched. Dad lunged forward but stopped when Dakota stepped between them, eyes blazing. In that moment, we all saw Sierra had just rewritten the ending. A village elders declared the marriage void. Mom finally spoke, calling Sierra brave. Nathaniel took her hand, trembling but proud. Dad sat alone, unmoving, his authority shattered. Sierra kissed Dakota's forehead, whispering thanks. That night, our house was quiet. No orders, no yelling, just silence, sweet and overdue. For once, Sierra's rebellion brought peace, not punishment. Sierra and Nathaniel left for the city 2 days later, waving from a dusty train. Mom packed them food. Eyes moist but hopeful, Dakota turned to me and said, she did it. I nodded, watching Dad stare at the empty table. Sierra had broken the chain not just for herself, but for all of us.